The year is 1958. Yemen is hit by a severe civil war and Dhirubhai Ambani is now left with no choice but to leave Yemen for India with his wife Kokilaben and his 1-year-old son Mukesh. They settle in a one-room apartment in Bhuleshwar. The family had to sleep on the floor, they are struggling financially and have no car nor a telephone. Nobody ever predicted that this struggling middle-class Ambani family of 1958 were about to flip their own destinies and become the most powerful family of India in just one generation. All the shareholders are headed to Birla Matushri Auditorium. It is the 42nd AGM of Reliance Industries Limited. In just a few minutes, the world is about to witness history being created. Fate of India's internet and technology revolution is going to be rewritten forever by one man. The chairman of Reliance Industries unravels his war chest, his vision, his dream. Joint implementation opportunities, GEO, was announced in front of the world. One man who would crystallize the visionary dreams of his father and become India's first trillionaire, the chairman of India's most valuable company, and the reason for the world's cheapest internet today. One man who was the son of India's polyester prince who left Yemen amidst a civil war, the son who would fiercely turn billions into trillions. This son was none other than Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani. In 1957, Dhirubhai was working as a petrol attendant at a petrol station in a small part of Yemen. His passion and inclination towards trading made him to join largest trading firm in Suez along with his brother Ramnik Bhai. On 15 July 1957, Dhirubhai Ambani and his wife were blessed with a son named Mukesh. Amidst all going well, they are unaware that a chaos is about to come ahead. But as said, the worst phases are meant to occur when something historic is bound to take place. A sequence of unexpected events would unfold and the fate of this Ambani family was about to change forever. Since his school days, young Mukesh was less into studies and more into sports. Adi Godrej and Anand Mahindra were his best friends in school and would call him Muku. Mukesh completed his graduation in chemical engineering and everyone expected him to study textiles, but he chose chemical engineering because he thought it was the future. Stability and crisis crossed their paths simultaneously when Majin Company was established by Dhirubhai Ambani with his cousin, wherein they exported spices to Yemen. And on the contrary, India-Pakistan partition crumbled the economy to lowest points ever. The textile industry was shaken as the major textile producing regions were located in Pakistan. Government of India made up the leeway by introducing export promotion schemes in order to boost this sector. This would draw the attention of a visionary young entrepreneur, Dhirubhai Ambani, who has now seen an opportunity and found the right time to hit the hammer on this hot griddle. The world is introduced to the birth of Reliance Commercial Corporation, launched in 1966 with the textile brand Vimal. Dhirubhai Ambani established Vimal with just Rs 1,50,000 in capital. He borrowed Rs 2,80,000 and established a textile and fabrics manufacturing facility in Naroda, Ahmedabad. India is now about to witness shrewd business acumen with growth strategies and techniques never seen before. Dhirubhai was a firm believer of backward integration strategy, so he focused on owning the entire supply chain of textile. In the early days, he was bullied and unethically harassed by the old money players in the industry. But after all, a wise man can learn more from his enemies than a fool from his friends. It's 1977. Reliance Textiles Limited had launched an IPO.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure in extending to you all very warm and cordial welcome to this annual general meeting of your company.
The stock market roared, the issue was oversubscribed more than 7 times, and Reliance raised $1.8 million through the stake sale. Everyone would call the share as Dhirubhai. Within 2 years of IPO, Indira Gandhi opened the doors for PFY manufacturing, which is polyester filament yarn manufacturing in India. 43 players applied for the license, including the Tatas and Birlas. But it was Dhirubhai Ambani who won the license to manufacture PFY.
Dreams have to be bigger, our ambitions higher, our commitment deeper, and our efforts greater. This is my dream for Reliance. In fact, It is my dream for the India. Wherever we go, we would like to be number one.
He established Reliance's first mega manufacturing project at Patalganga. During this time, Mukesh went to Stanford University to do his MBA. He wished to intern at the World Bank or possibly teach in a university post his graduation. His father always believed that learning was harnessed through experience, not by sitting in a classroom. He asked Mukesh to drop out and join him in setting up the PFY plant. Dhirubhai allowed him to make major decisions for Reliance just like a business partner. Though Dhirubhai was an iconic personality, Mukesh was shy. Once in a theatre, a girl was practicing Bharatnatyam. At that moment, Dhirubhai decided Neeta would be the perfect bride for Mukesh. After understanding her background and family, Dhirubhai invited her to the Ambani residence to meet. Mukesh and Neeta tied the knot in 1985. By 1992, Reliance had just boarded the journey of its triumph when it got access funds through global capital markets. It was the first Indian company to issue global depository receipts for funding, and it also became the first ever Indian entity to be rated by credit rating agencies internationally. But the journey of triumph for Mukesh had its own way to reach its explicit destination. The year is 1993. Fuel subsidies and price gaps have siphoned off major industry profits. The oil sector lacked capital for new exploration.
With Mukesh being gripped by this Jamnagar fever. So I came here. All that I saw was just land. Miles and miles of land, no trees, arid, desert. I said, I don't want just concrete and buildings. I want the family to enjoy complete life.
To deal with such an unforeseen economic crisis, the government took steps to open up the oil and gas sector in India. Mukesh was about to undertake his biggest challenge in his life so far. Everyone wants to see a miracle, but very few wants to be the miracle. Mukesh laid out a plan to build a refinery at Jamnagar that would easily be twice the size of any other in India, capable of handling 6 lakh barrels of crude a day. Mukesh spent 3 years taking an hour-and-a-half flight from Mumbai on a tiny propeller plane 4 times a week. He worked day and night to build the impossible.
Jamnagar has demonstrated unquestionably to the world is if we can dream it, we can do it. Well, my father Dhirubhai Ambani's vision really is, and what is imbibed in each one of us, that whatever you do has to be world class.
On 14 July 1999, the refinery was commissioned. Jamnagar refinery is today one of the most profitable refineries in the world. Mukesh was the face of Reliance now. In the period from 1990 to 2000, under his leadership, Reliance Industries' revenue grew over 10x. But soon, a sudden tragic event would break him to the core. On 14 July 2002, Dhirubhai Ambani took his last breath. The whole country mourned. All eyes were now on both the Ambani brothers to carry forward the legacy of Dhirubhai Ambani. Mukesh became the managing director of Reliance Group, whereas Anil became the vice president. There were constant fights between both the brothers. Finally, their mother, Kokilaben Ambani, had to step in. She divided the companies between both brothers. Reliance was disintegrated. Where Mukesh got Reliance and IPCL, Anil Ambani received Reliance Infocom, Reliance Energy and Reliance Capital. This changed the fate of both brothers. The secret for massive growth is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Mukesh's ownership over the businesses has reduced. He set his foot in Indian retail to target the Indian middle class. He believed that this segment had a lot of potential which can be unlocked. Not only groceries but also sell footwear, garments, jewelry, electronics, food and luxury watches. But his plans completely swept away when the winds of uncertainty blew in the Indian and global economy. The global economy is shattered by the Lehman Brothers crisis. Every business worldwide got affected by this crisis, while the oil and gas sector was the biggest anomaly. Reliance, being the oil and gas leader, was clearly not ready to deal with such a massive chaos. Eventually, this led Reliance to lay off 5,000 workers and shut down its plants, including their PFY plant in Patalganga, from where it all began. Analysts sold Reliance. Mukesh's net worth decreased from $42 billion in 2008 to $32 billion in 2009. He, now faced with his back against the wall, knows it is up to him and only him to recover from this disaster. Businesses fall and they rebound, taking longer, but entrepreneurs who fail chase dreams even stronger. Mukesh built his new home in 2010 called the Magnificent Antilia. At a valuation of rupees 15,000 crores, it's the most expensive home in the world. By the balcony of a 27-floored home, he could view the entire Mumbai. He entered into multiple foreign alliances and buyouts, but how did he do it? Debt. Till 2012, Reliance was virtually debt-free, but soon after it went on an investment spree with borrowed funds. One of the biggest deals was the Reliance British Petroleum joint venture. In 2011, British Petroleum bought a 30% stake in Reliance's oil and gas blocks for $7.2 billion, the biggest FDI in India at that time. Not only that, Reliance also amalgamated with petrochemicals giant like IPCL. It was one of the largest divestments of the government of India at that time. In 2014, Reliance acquired Network 18. Through this, Mukesh Ambani gets in his portfolio platforms like Money Control, Book My Show, First Post, and channels like Colors, CNBC TV 18. Throughout his hustles, one man was constantly in the game with him. This man was Modi. Full name, Manoj Modi, also known as the Rainmaker. He has been associated with Reliance since the 1980s for over 40 years now.
Refinery, petrochemicals, power and port. So for us it was 4 projects to be financed and not 1 project to be financed. So that is how the entire funding was thought through and planned.
Not having any fancy degrees, he's an expert deal maker. Modi has a big say in every deal and often a meeting with him signals the final stamp of approval. Mukesh always trusts his judgment on matters. Through his help, he was about to revolutionize India. This is 2010. Isha Ambani, daughter of Mukesh Ambani, complains about the internet connectivity issue. It was the moment when Jio was conceptualized. But what about the non-compete agreement between Mukesh Ambani and Anil Ambani? After a bitter court fight in 2006, both brothers agreed to scrap the agreement. That meant it allowed competition after 10 years, which is 2015. From 2011 to 2015, Mukesh invested heavily in fiber optic networks. It was his concrete vision which led to the foundation of Jio. Everyone wants to do something big in their life. It is the quality of a great leader to enable it. On 5th of September 2016, Jio was unveiled to India. It proved to be a game changer. How did Jio penetrate in the industry? Jio used AARRR strategy. Acquisition. It offered free services for 3 months. This was the trump card. Within 1 month, it got 16 million subscribers. Activation. With unlimited high-speed data and unlimited calls, users got best quality services. Retention. Jio offered free services for further 3 months in 2017. Referral. Customers preached Jio's experience. They got more customers. Revenue. Slashing prices to 1/10 of the cost. Jio got ahead with revenue and built market share. In just 170 days, more than 10 crore customers signed up for Jio, fastest adoption of any tech service in the world. Reliance Petrochemicals and telecom verticals were its most robust businesses. But today, after refining, the retail business is the highest earner. The group invested $5.6 billion in the Indian startup space. Some of its prominent investments are in Dunzo, NetMeds, acquisition of Savan, Zivam. Reliance now became the first company to cross rupees 10 trillion in market capitalization. The year is 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic hit the world. The economy and all industries were battered and global crude oil prices fell steeply. Reliance's share price plummeted by 39%. But learnings from lessons of 2008, this time Reliance did not just survive, but it thrived. When a defining moment comes along, you can define the moment or let the moment define you. Mukesh decided to define his moment and shaped Jio to become an investment magnet. From not just being a telecom company, it was to be a digital ecosystem. It was to create connected intelligence for 6 billion global minds. Convincing the world's leading investors amidst a global pandemic seemed a cakewalk to the public reading funding news back to back. Jio received rupees 1.5 trillion in investments. Tech giants like Facebook and Google were also the prominent investors. With powerful alliances, Jio was now ready to shape its robust legacy in India's internet revolution. All times are good times for those who know how to work and have the tools to do so. Success without obsession is like drifting without a dream. Succession without planning is like an engine without steam. Mukesh still remembers the bitter fight between him and his brother. He didn't want to have this between his children while dividing $208 billion of family wealth. So how did he solve it? He took a page out of Sam Walton's playbook. Waltons are the richest family. Sam Walton started preparing his succession 40 years before he died. Apparently, Mukesh will set up a trust to hold the stakes of Reliance. Mukesh, Nita and their 3 children will hold stakes in this new entity. In the 45th AGM, Mukesh announced Akash as the chairman of Jio, Isha to head Reliance Retail, Anand to build and develop Reliance New Energy. Speaking of unique lesser-known facts, Reliance came up with an idea to plant lakhs of trees and set up an orchard in Jamnagar in 1997 to curb pollution. Called as Dhirubhai Ambani Lucky Buck Amrai today, this orchard is the largest mango exporter in Asia, producing about 600 tons of mangoes a year in 600 acres of land. From Dhirubhai Ambani starting Reliance with just rupees 1,50,000 in hand to today being a rupees 17.74 trillion company, from being born to a normal middle class family, it was due to sheer hard work, determination and sharp business acumen that Mukesh Ambani turned Reliance Industries into one of the largest global conglomerates today.
I don't know if many people will know I was the first analyst covering Reliance way back in 1991 when they were just going to launch their GDR issue. And just to supplement what Sonia said, I think the profit of Reliance in that year was 150 odd crores, which is, at that exchange rate, $50 million. And from that $50 million to be at a $10 billion plus run rate of profit where they are today is just a staggering journey. It's 200 times in the span of this 30 years.
I really have my father as my role model, and he started off with nothing. And one of the things that he said to me is that you really don't know, Mukesh, what it is to be poor. And make sure that you maintain everybody's self-respect. So when you give, people hold their hand on this basis. Don't give on that basis, right? When you give, and if people hold their hand like this, that means they bless you. That's the way to give. And in a certain sense, some amount of anonymous giving or doing things that change societies, doing things that leave a lasting impact. And even if it be creation of businesses, creation of jobs, right? Creation of sustainable institutions that last beyond you, is the best way that you can contribute to India.